is Yash, and today we will be analyzing the Union Budget presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaraman today on 23rd July 2024. So right off the bat, the purpose of a budget is simple. It is about how we would spend our money in proportion to our income. So the estimated income for the government this year is 32 lakh crores and the estimated expenses sit at 48 lakh crores. Now, while this might seem like a massive difference, right around 12 lakh crores, this is a mere 4.9% fiscal deficit as a percentage of our overall GDP. Also, over the past few years, this government has had a tendency of under-promising and over-delivering when it comes to the income earned through taxes. So, in my estimate, this 32 lakh crore figure is actually going to sit somewhere around 35 to 36 lakh crores, somewhere around there. Now, talking about how this money would be spent, which is precisely what a budget is supposed to be about, right? I'll be dividing this video into three categories. Firstly, generic policies, which will include agriculture, employment, upskilling, etc. Second, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, which will cause a lot of political drama to unfold in the coming days. And lastly, the five-letter word that we all dread, TAXES, taxes, which have seen some major changes. So let's get started. The first topic that was covered was agriculture. There would be a substantial increase in research and development when it comes to agriculture with the intention of improving crop yields, which is basically how much crop would be produced on a given piece of land. New variety of crops would also be introduced and so forth. The government also continues its previous focus on pisciculture, primarily shrimp farming, and the total allocation to agriculture as a whole is 1.52 lakh crores. Next, with regards to employment and skill training, which by the way have been a major issue raised by the opposition over the last few months during the elections, there are some pretty interesting policy decisions. Firstly, employers would be given 1 month wage for first-time employees of up to 1 lakh rupees per month. This is very clearly going to boost employment and primarily encourage them to probably hire first-time employees. Secondly, financial support of up to 10 lakh rupees in form of loans would be provided for university education, primarily in domestic institutions. There is also an increased focus on MSMEs, which are the biggest employers in our country. And these include from increasing loan amount of mudra loans from 10 lakh rupees to 20 lakh rupees to setting up credit rating models for giving out loans to MSMEs in public sector banks. Another very unique policy decision from my lens is an introduction of 1,000 crore venture capital fund for space tourism. Now, this is pretty unique and this is the first time I'm hearing of something like this, at least in India. In addition to this, there is also a policy continuation of PM Awas Yojana, which is about tackling homelessness by giving free homes to the poor. And 3 crore more homes would be given based on this budget. Now let's move to a topic with high voltage political drama. Bihar and Andhra Pradesh. Now, JDU and TDP have played a very important role in helping BJP and NDA form a government this time along. And obviously, both of them have had their set of demands for their states for this budget. The budget has allocated 26,000 crores for the development of roads in Bihar and another 11,500 crores for flood mitigation in the state. In addition to this, the budget also talks about providing financial support for the development of airports, colleges and hospitals in Bihar and restoration of 2 temples in Gaya and Bodh Gaya respectively. In terms of Andhra Pradesh, 15,000 crores has been allotted for the development of Andhra Pradesh's new capital city, Amravati, and financial support has been promised for essential infrastructure like roads and electricity. Now, did Bihar get a preference in this budget? Yes, and this is primarily because of the state elections next year. What was very funny at the same time was how the opposition has reacted on this, and they were literally shouting while this budget was getting announced. Many for this reason have even called this the Bihar and Andhra Pradesh budget. Now moving to the last and most disappointing part, taxes. Firstly, let's start with the good ones. Custom duty on certain products like 3 cancer medicines, gold, silver, certain minerals and certain electronic items like chargers have come down. So these items are set to get cheaper. In fact, jewelry stocks like Kalyan Jewelers and Titan went up to 8% after these announcements, even as the broader markets were very volatile and fell sharply in the start. Next, Finance Minister talked about the need to simplify GST and TDS regimes. And there were even some minor changes and tweaks with regards to TDS, but nothing significant. She said that there would be more changes announced after a 6-month review. And now coming to the elephant in the room, something which I'm assuming a lot of you are waiting for. Changes in long-term and short-term capital gains taxes. Long-term and short-term capital gains taxes have been changed from 10% and 15% to 12.5% and 20% in the case of equities. Long-term capital gains tax has also been changed for real estate from 20% to now 12.5%. But there's a catch. The benefit of indexation is gone. What is indexation now? Indexation basically means the change in price with time. Let's assume you bought a property at 50 lakhs, say 20 years back, and today it's worth 2 crores. Under the old tax regime, that 50 lakhs would be indexed for those 20 years and maybe the value would set at 1.5 crore rupees. Now, the difference between 2 crores and 1.5 crores is 50 lakhs. So you'll only have to pay that 20% capital gains on this value of 50 lakhs, which would sit right around 10 lakhs, right? But under the new tax regime, there's no benefit of indexation. So the difference between 2 crores and 50 lakhs sitting at 1.5 crores would be taxed at 12.5%. And this value comes to 18.75 lakhs. As a result of this, some real estate stocks fell more than 5% after these announcements. Further, income from buyback would now be charged at the individual investor's respective tax slab. This means that if you fall under the 30% tax slab, your income from the buyback of shares will sit at 30%. All of this caused Nifty to fall over 400 points before recovering. Further, STT, which is Securities Transaction Tax, has also been increased primarily for FNO, which is futures and options. Well, I believe this is probably a good thing. And here is why. FNO is a very speculative tool, and with regards to that, Indian FNO volumes were now the highest in the world, even surpassing the US, which happens to be almost a 10 times bigger capital market. A lot of regulatory authorities like RBI and SEBI also raised concerns about this in the past. This could also potentially solve the problem around the lack of deposit growth in the case of banks. Well, that should be it. In my opinion, other than the changes in the long-term and short-term capital gains tax, this budget was largely a non-event, and I don't really support the changes that they've recently made in the tax structures. But that's for another video. Let me know what you guys think about this budget in the comments below, and do like and share this video, and do check us out on Instagram as well if you haven't already.